Hello, and welcome to the Mindful Opus podcast. I'm your host, Jo Zacany, violist with the Cleveland Orchestra, yoga teacher, and coach for classical musicians. Here, we switch from grind to kind in our artistic process so that artists like you can avoid burnout, ditch performance anxiety, and create a thriving, healthy life on and off stage. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get into it. Hello, fellow Opus creator, and welcome to episode 8. For today's episode, I wanted to share something very special with you. This is the framework that I use with the people I work with to help them find their own personal process and what helps them the most when they have a big event coming up. The reason I'm sharing this is because as we're heading into a new year, if you're listening in real time, I'm seeing a lot of opportunities for people coming up. Auditions, competitions, and a particularly busy performance schedule for a lot of you out there. So I thought, why not? Why not just open the door for you to come on in and see this specific process I use to help people get clear on what they're doing between now and whatever that particular goal is. And then getting clear on how they want the day of to go. So truly, this is for you if you are auditioning, if you're preparing for a competition, if you're getting ready for a big solo performance. Maybe you're a titled player in an orchestra and you're finally playing that big piece you've grown up hearing and you're in your head about it. Or you have a recital. Maybe you're working on another big project like an album or a book. Truly, any project at all that has a goal in mind, this will help you find more ease and clarity in your preparation so you can feel more confident and clear on the day of. Also, this episode is going to be chock full of information, so you may want to grab a piece of paper and a pen or save this episode so you can revisit it later when you have time to write some things down. Or just follow along wherever you're listening and see what comes up with the prompts that I offer. So this is a 2-part process. Part 1 is what I call the prep process. Think of it as the time between today and your event, your audition, performance, you name it. There are 4 steps to part 1, and these 4 steps are rooted in particular prompts and questions. Step 1 is to get really clear on what I call a target feeling. I want you to start with answering the question, how do you want to feel in your prep? How do you want to feel in this process? Imagine yourself in the practice room, going about your day, and picture overall how you want to feel. Some examples from the people I work with include wanting to feel more empowered, more focused, calmer, have more clarity, feel more confident. Get clear on what is the feeling that you most want to embody. Step 2 is to get clear on what you're bringing into your process. First, think about what you've done in the past that helps bring more of that feeling into your prep. We're exploring your own personal experience first here. So if you're wanting to, let's say, feel more calm, what have you done in the past that you know you would like to bring with you into today's process? For example, if you're someone who tends to enjoy a timer when you're practicing, that's something I see a lot with clients and previous students. Maybe you'd like to set a timer so you know when to stop. If that helps you find calm, and calm is your target feeling, you get to bring it back. The other prompt in this bringing things in step is, what haven't you tried that can help you fill in the gaps as far as landing in that target feeling? This is where I come in. And actually, if you've been following along this whole season, it's going to come in really handy. A lot of how I fill in the gaps with people is particular concepts and frameworks I've already covered. Things like excellence over perfection, data over judgment in evaluating your work, cultivating an inner critic and an inner coach persona so you can tell which one is in the driver's seat, and helping you develop a mindfulness practice. This is where I help fill in any gaps along this process. What else could you bring in? And what else have you been curious to try before? So while step 2 is about bringing in what has served you before and trying out new things in alignment with that target feeling, step 3 is about what you intentionally want to leave out. It's about asking yourself, what have I done before that I know doesn't serve me? This is important because you have to get clear on what's not been serving you so that when, not if, you find yourself falling into those patterns again, you're aware of them and you can pivot. Some patterns you may want to leave out include mindless woodshedding and playing a passage over and over again. Do you all remember my Don Juan story of trying to nail that high D run 500 times in a row? Or perhaps you're obsessing 24/7 over this impending event. It's all you think about. Or maybe another angle is you've avoided things in the past that you know you could help, but that you have resistance to. Let's take recording, for example. And by the way, I'm not saying that is the right thing for you, but if you think it might be and you want to try it out, you'll want to align it with your target feeling by maybe finding reasons that support you getting there. Things like seeing recording as data versus judgment. You get the picture. So really get clear on, what do you want to leave out or do differently? The last step is to put it all together by creating your whole person structure. Start with choosing a timeline. Let's say you have 2 months between now and this artistic event. I want you to break it down in a way that feels good to you, daily, weekly, or monthly. I want you to structure your schedule in a way that supports you. Let's go with weekly just because that's the one I tend to see the most. Once you've decided, you're going to fill that structure and that timeline with your well-being in mind and using the well-being wheel. This is why my process is different than anyone else's. And I really believe in it because I've seen it work time and time again. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about when it comes to the well-being framework, you can go to episode 4 after this, titled The Well-Being Wheel, where I break down every single step. Or you can go to my website, mindfulopus.com, and download my free Well-Being Wheel workbook. But the general idea behind it is that your well-being, when you're working from a whole person approach, is broken into 7 pieces of your life. Music, which we just laid out all the details for in the previous 3 steps. And then also mind, body, spirituality, hobbies, relationships, and rest. This is honestly one of my favorite parts of the process because it gets really fun. I get to see people go, wait, I have permission to think about things other than music? Yes, 100% you get to, because that is how you find sustainable support. Here's a quick refresher on the well-being wheel. For mind, it's any form of mental care. A lot of my clients end up prioritizing meditation or some form of an awareness practice, but the list is vast on this one, and of course, includes coaching. For body, any form of physical care, including somatic practices. Things like yoga and breath work can be really helpful in shifting away from stress into feeling empowered or calm. Speaking of empowered, another amazing tool is one I call power posing. If you don't know what that is, go to YouTube and type in Amy Cuddy power pose. You'll thank me later. The condensed version is you can alter how you're feeling by taking on a particular body posture. So if you're feeling sort of nervous or like you're lacking confidence and you would prefer to feel empowered, go power pose for 2 minutes. It's honestly amazing. So, yes, body care can look like many things. And particularly if you're playing a lot, seeking professional support like massage or physical therapy can be very beneficial. For spirituality, it's anything that connects you to something deeper than yourself, anything from walks all the way to philosophy books. For hobbies, knitting seems to be a very popular hobby these days. But the list can include reading, cooking, horseback riding, coloring. Think something that helps pass the time, fuels your creativity, and helps you unplug from music. Relationships can be particularly tricky to maintain, but they're so important. I remember someone I was working with saying, I'm really excited to schedule coffee dates with friends because that means when I'm done playing for the day. And that was really supportive for her in her prep and served her well in not hyperfixating on music all day long. Last up is rest. It's that permission to find intentional downtime so you can recalibrate your nervous system and manage your overall energetic output. Super important and often neglected. So you take these 7 pieces: music, mind, body, spirituality, hobbies, relationship, and rest. And you decide in that timeline, how are you supporting yourself? What gets to be a part of your process that serves your overall well-being? Music is clear from the previous steps. How about the other ones? Now we're ready for part 2, the day of process. This involves how you want to structure the actual day that your part 1 process has been helping you get ready for. What is it that you can control on this day that will support you best? Because most of the time, the outcome, particularly if it's an audition or a competition, isn't something you can control. So this brings back some control for you to feel good and ready. Step 1 is once again that target feeling. How do you want to feel on the day of? This can be the same feeling as part 1, or it can be different. Maybe today is also about focusing and that sense of acceptance and pride in your work. So again, you get to decide what is the feeling you want to embody, for the most part, on the day of. Step 2 is to put together your day of performance toolkit. Think of it as your little travel bag of all the things that are going to support you in embodying that feeling. First, you have the logistics of what you're bringing: water, food, earbuds or headphones, hand warmers if your hands get cold, a journal, a book, your favorite playlist, or a token that when you pick it up, it makes you feel good. Something portable, like a small picture or a written quote, to act as a gentle reminder of your intrinsic value. Then you want to include things from your prep that will help you stay in alignment with that feeling. Things like meditation, breath work, power posing, knitting, or a book. Write them down if necessary and have a list that reminds you to simply tap into what you've already been cultivating. And frankly, don't be shy about doing what you need to on the day of. If it's a downward dog in the middle of the dressing room or a power pose in the bathroom stall, yes, these are both real-life examples. Trust yourself and what you need, because that's ultimately what helps you tap into that innate confidence, which of course helps you perform. Step 3 is what I call your cheer squad. I know it's a little cheesy, but the idea is to know who your safe people are, who love you and are there for you no matter what the result is. Those people who are going to cheer you on if you win, pick you up if you don't, and love you the exact same amount, no matter what. That is a sacred list. So know who your people are ahead of time so you know who you can lean on. And the final step is the celebration. How are you going to celebrate when the event is over? Now, I'm not talking about false positivity here. If for some reason you don't get the external result you want, you're allowed to be disappointed. Of course, you worked really hard. But I still want you to build in a sense of acknowledgement for the work that you have done and the pride you can feel in that work. So decide ahead of time, regardless of the result, how you're going to honor yourself. Maybe if you're of legal age, you know exactly what beverage you have to look forward to. Or you can plan to eat your favorite meal. Or you're just relishing finally getting to see that movie snuggled up on the couch under a blanket. Again, yes, all real examples here. So however you're called to celebrate, go with it. You have earned it, my friend. So that's it for today. Go apply this process to whatever artistic endeavor you have coming up. And if you're thinking you don't want to go at this alone, I can help you. I'll leave a note in the show notes on how to contact me if you wish to. I wish you all a wonderful new year, and I will see you in 2026. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Mindful Opus podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, consider adding the show to your library, write a blurb in the review section, or share it with someone in your circle. For more about my work, you can find me on Instagram at mindfulopus or my website, mindfulopus.com. And while you're there, don't forget to grab that free well-being resource waiting for you. Until next time, my fellow Opus creator, keep creating the life you want, one opus at a time.